Welcome to the Soul Revival Podcast, where we have deep and meaningful conversations exploring modalities, tools, and healing, guiding you back to your most expansive soul self.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Soul Revival Podcast. Today, I get the pleasure of talking about how I connect my day-to-day life with spirituality. You know, I'm a mom, I run a business, I have a million things going on day to day, and I've learned to stay connected. And these are the things that I do religiously each and every day to make sure that I'm connected to Source through it all. Because let's be honest, it is turbulence. It is energy throughout my days that I feel like I have no control of. And that's the way we're supposed to live life, is just kind of release, detach, and let things happen the way that they're meant to happen. So, Lindsay, I'm so excited to kind of explore this topic and talk more about it.
Yeah, me too. And this part two of this two-part series that we're doing where we're sharing my day and your day, I think is going to be really helpful to so many people because as you just alluded to, and we talked about in part one, you can really get lost in the human and we all get hit. I don't care who you are or how high vibrational you are, we all get hit with human things. So I think having routines that are kind of centered in your day and anchored into your day is so important. And I'm really excited to learn about your routine and how you connect each day with spirit and how you're really intentional about that.
Yes. So, for those who don't know, I have a 9.5-year-old daughter and I have a 14-month-old son. And throughout the night, you know, he probably wakes up around 3 a.m. and he's ready to come in bed with me. So when he comes in bed with me, he's usually waking up around 6 a.m. and it's usually with like a slap in the face or, you know, like whatever it may be, but it's never like a kiss in the morning, right? And I am learning to be a morning person, but mornings are really hard for me. I'm a person that really enjoys my sleep. So as soon as that hit comes across my face or whatever it may be at 6 in the morning, I remind myself that I am not reacting and I have to set my intentions because the minute you wake up, it's really forming the from your entire day. Your mindset for the morning, the way that you wake up, you can always reset it, but it really does hold such a vibration for the rest of the day. So I really tune into my body and I set the intention that we're going to wake up and have a great day. How is my body feeling? Am I waking up? Am I feeling inflamed? Do I feel like I had a good night of sleep? Do I feel connected to source? If I'm feeling kind of inflamed and not connected, I make sure to do breath work before getting out of bed because I am not reacting, but creating. I am creating this life, and it's a tool that we have to work on. So then I wake up and it's time to get my daughter off for school. And most of the time, Marky loves to wake everyone in the house up. So he goes and runs in her room too. And sometimes she's not ready to wake up. So it's 11:11 on my clock right now as we're recording this. I just wanted to emphasize that. So I always love to go in my living room and turn on sound healing, any type of sound vibration to just make sure everyone's calm and relax and trying to set gratitude up in the morning. So then Kinsey gets off for school and Marky lays down for his nap. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I can breathe. How am I going to show up today? I've learned that I am not one that can move off of a schedule right now. Kinsey, she loved her schedules. Marky, he's not on a schedule. He does not operate on a schedule. I've tried everything in my power to get him to operate on a schedule. So when he does take his nap, I move from alignment because before I feel like I was moving from force. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. It was causing so much friction. And I feel that my soul just works better for moving in alignment and not force. So when Marky's napping, it's like, what do I need to do right now for myself? Do I need that cup of coffee? Do I need to go listen to birds? Do I need to step outside and get some fresh air? Or am I in the mood to create? Lately, I've been in the mood to create. I've been sitting down at the computer with my blinds open, looking outside, and just trying to bring through different ways of creation. I've learned that I have to normalize because with Mackenzie being 9.5, I got on a schedule of being able to operate with my spiritual senses the way that I needed to, which was going for walks and connecting to source, meditating, every morning I would start with my moon water or She Legit. And lately I haven't really been utilizing my moon water or She Legit. So I've also noticed that working from home, running a business, being a mom, I have to understand that interruptions are a part of my life and it doesn't have to trigger me. But if I do get triggered, I just try to observe what's happening instead of entangled in the trigger. And then I also have to be okay with noise. Noise is something that um, I like silence. I really like silence. If I'm driving in the car, no, there's no music on. I'm just in silence. You know, if I'm in my room, there's no TV on. I'm just laying in bed in silence. I love that form of meditation for myself. But uh, being in this mom world, there's noise everywhere, screaming, throwing things, just a lot of noise. So I'm learning to breathe through that noise in order to hear spirit more. Um, and just trying to release that image of it has to be perfect to be connected.
And don't you feel like this is probably the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Probably a growth phase for you to be able to do that because like I think we all kind of have like these idyllic ways. Like if you've been on your spiritual journey for any length of time now, or even when if you're early on your journey, like we all have these ways that we think we have to be, these states that we have to be
Mhm.
in to connect. So don't you feel like that's just kind of like debunking that, just in like forcing you to expand your ability to connect beyond those certain ideal ways?
Absolutely. Because 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I was in a phase or a chapter where it was harder for me to connect. It was really hard for me. I mean, I always can connect to oneness, but connecting to that creative outlet of myself or connecting to the gratitude and the joy that I feel right now, it wasn't fully online. It felt more forced, or it felt like I'm chasing something. And when you release that and just like, okay, this is the phase of life that I'm in, these are the emotions I'm feeling, this is what's happening for me. I have to just live through this. It really helps release the pressure that is placed upon you. Because you're really putting the pressure on yourself. And I also, one thing that has been helping me tremendously lately, your body only feels the emotion for 90 seconds.
We want to express deep gratitude for everybody who sponsors the podcast. It really, really matters. It allows us to invest our time, effort, and energy in bringing you the most relevant spiritual content. So if you're feeling called, please subscribe, click like, leave a review, or sponsor the podcast. We very, very much appreciate you.
And so when I'm feeling any sort of emotion that isn't of high vibration, which, it happens, we're human, it's going to come in and come out throughout the entire day. I realize, okay, 90 seconds. And then if I'm still feeling it after 90 seconds, it's like, okay, mind, you're entangling. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. This isn't ours to hold on to anymore. That has really helped this creation part of myself be online. And I think that too, connection to source and being just in this spiritual light and platform, it is finding ways to connect through the chaos. When the dogs are barking and they won't be quiet and the baby just finally went to sleep. Am I going to go and match the dog's energy and be like, oh, going down? Or, am I just going to go out there and be like, breathe, breathe, breathe. What are they barking at? What is out there? Let's see, let's explore. I think that connecting to the inner child and bringing in more exploration throughout my day is helping a lot too. But just, I think too, just understanding that I could create a schedule. I could for sure create a schedule and try to stick with it. But I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want Marky to have to be in daycare. And I'm so blessed to not have to do that and have to go to work. But it is a lot more of flexibility. Like if I'm not able to work during the day, then I'm staying up later at night to get my work done because I have that flexibility and I have to use that flexibility. And I have to really listen to my body in order to understand where I'm feeling and what I'm feeling in the moments to adjust my schedule accordingly. Because I think that I operate on a schedule. I like to have a schedule. I like to check my boxes off and
Yes.
I like to feel like I get things done. And that has not been my life lately. It just hasn't been. So, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think this is a really important viewpoint, I feel like, and obviously completely opposite of, kind of my journey and how I go about my day. And I think this is really important because when you're thinking about moms or even people who are maybe caregiving for older parents and things, our lives change so fast. And we have to, I think what you're talking about really is not giving resistance energy to that phase that you're in right now, but just being in flow with it. And even when you typically would like to be on a schedule and have your like to-do list to check off and everything, which is very much me. But like just recognizing that this is your current phase and that you just being in flow with it actually is going to help you because that resistance energy isn't going to change the phase that you're in. It isn't going to change Marky's behavior. It isn't going to change the fact that you can't adhere to schedule. It's only going to create more resistance in your mental health and your physical body too.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that this chapter of my life, the most important thing, obviously, is when I wake up, setting the intention for the day, but also staying so in tune with the moon cycles. I've really been working with the new moon, the full moon, creating full moon water. Actually, Mackenzie came in last night. She's like, Mom, I want you to know. She's like, I made some cereal and she's like, I put milk in it. And this might sound gross to you, but I put some of your moon water in it. She's like, because I just wanted to feel the magic that you feel. And I'm like, you know what, Mackenzie, next time I make moon water, you could stay up with me and we'll make it together and we'll create it together. And charging my crystals. I mean, my crystals are so powerful in themselves and just different areas of grounding or protection or whatever it may be. So using the moon cycles to help me release and call in and just feel that sort of support from the universe during the times of like growth or having no idea what's coming next because that's just kind of the chapter I'm in. I'm in this in between and I'm just praying and knowing that I'm not in control and that I just have to trust. And Lindsay, another tool that really helps me too is water. When I start to feel discombobulated or like, just
Did you
completely.
ever feel discombobulated with the day you just described to us?
Exactly. I know. I know. I'm like, Mark, I have to go just take a shower. I have to. He'll even tell me, like, Autumn, this is your third shower today. It's like, I don't know what it is. Water just calms me and I'll just be back in like 3 minutes. And I don't even wash my hair or anything. I just literally let the water like release any of the things that are in my energetic field. And I just watch it go down the drain and it just like helps me. It's like a sensory thing that helps me so incredibly much just turn back to me. Um, Even we went to Disney recently and you know, I just let the day happen the way that it needed to happen. I showed up, I packed the bags, and we just went off. And Marky didn't nap at all. He was crabby most of the time. But I just kept seeing ourselves like in this bubble of love and light. And it just helps to know that you are creating your reality. So you get to choose how you want to react. You get to choose how you want to respond. And yeah, there might be jerks in front of you that are being rude, but you don't have to feed or match that energy to make your life magical.
Absolutely. As your day proceeds, like as you go in, I mean, obviously Mackenzie comes home from school, like talk us through like your late afternoon, evening, your pre-bed routine.
Okay, so when Kenzie gets home from school, normally we're in softball season now, so she's got like two practices a week, two games a week. So depending on that, we're going those places. Mark usually cooks dinner. I'm so blessed because Mark loves to cook, and so he does the dinner, and I don't have to worry about that. But then nighttime comes around, Marky goes to bed, hopefully, if we're lucky, around 6:37. And then from 7 to 9, it's just me time. Like I literally, Kinsey's usually relaxing by then. I usually love to meditate. I like to meditate every night for at least 20 minutes. I just turn on sound healing and I just let myself zen out. Depending on how that meditation goes, I'll journal or I'll do chanting or humming. Lately, I've been really called to humming, especially my solar plexus chakra. I just feel like there's a lot of energy building up that just needs to move different areas. And so I'll hum. Usually I like to go for a walk if I can as well. Whether that's with Marky in the stroller and Kinsey on the electric scooter or by myself. But walking has been tremendous for me, just feeling the myself moving through these transitions of life. And then after my meditation, if I journal, I journal, but if not, I'm ready to go to sleep. But I love to drink water before I go to bed. And I try not to eat after dinner. So we usually cook dinner around like 5 o'clock. I try not to eat anything after that because my dreams have been so vivid lately and just so live actioned that I feel like it's really changed my life to watch what I'm eating and ingesting after a certain time at night.
Oh, I love that. And that's so funny. Like, I kind of expected us to have relatively, I guess, very different routines, but there is definitely elements of sameness. And I totally agree with you on the eating thing. So, one thing I've noticed, I try not to, my rule is to like not consume anything after 8 p.m. I'll give myself a little wiggle room on the weekends. But just fun fact, and we can dive into this again too, but when you consume food before right before you go to bed, so like if you eat a late dinner or if you eat a super heavy meal that like kind of lingers into your pre-bed routine, your body is actually very focused on digesting the food, and it can turn off and dull like a lot of your senses around connecting with spirit. So I intuitively figured this out right after Roger passed, and so I was really intentional about not consuming food late in the evening because I saw a direct correlation with it interfering with dream visits.
Oh, wow. Wow. I mean, it makes sense because your stomach, I think, is the actual brain of our human body. So it would make sense that it would turn it just overactive, trying to get
Yeah.
that food broken down before
Well, and
that.
I think it distracts us from like being able to go into the 5D because we're too anchored into what's going on in our physical body. So we're not able to fully release and go into the 5D.
I love that, Lindsay. I think that it actually makes so much sense. That actually makes so much sense. But yeah, and sometimes some weeks, some days I'm having a cheat day, having a cheat weekend, just like you said, it depends on how my body's feeling. But typically, this is how I enjoy to spend my days. Also, checking it, I love at dinner time, every single time we're at dinner, we still eat like dinner as a family at the table most of the time. And Kinsey will ask what our thorn and what our rose is. And we'll ask her what her rose and thorn was of the day. So typically the rose is like the really good thing that happened throughout the day that like brought in love or joy. And then the thorn is like maybe the hiccup that you had, or like maybe you reacted a certain way that you wish that you would have responded a different way, or, just bringing in that insight. And I feel like that, connection of just like, hey, we're here, we're listening, we're all helping each other is so important. Especially, in today's world, like I have my cousin or my nieces and nephews over when Mackenzie has her cousins over, they don't play anymore. Like they'll play, but on their tablets and on like their electronics. And I'm just like, no, get
Oh,
outside.
God.
We literally split the yard. Mark and I split our backyard. So like the kids have an area and then the dogs have an area. So that's not, an excuse anymore. I'm like, get your butts outside and go have some fun. Go play. And I think that that's so important for this generation because also too, I feel like we're coming to a pivot in the way electronics work and how much access we have to electronics. And I feel like it's going to be very hard for children to have a different outlook if they're so used to their electronics. So just trying to, limit that time. And when Kinsey was growing up, she was only allowed 1 hour a day on her tablet. And now that Marky's here, I'm guilty. It's like she definitely overdoes that most of the time. And that's how she talks to her friends. She'll like FaceTime them and have conversations. But it's like, we're missing the whole point of life and giving back when we're so distracted. And so I think that my daily routine is really bringing back that connection for myself and also for, my children and Mark. And that's another thing too. It's really hard when it's not really hard, but there's challenges in being in different levels of the spiritual life and routine. When Mark, my fiance, I mean, he believes, he definitely
Co-parenting.
believes. Yes, but he's more of just like this present, let's take every moment by the moment it's here. I think I told the story about like, hey, just ask your spirit team. And sometimes he does. And sometimes he's like, I heard this today and I saw this sign today. But other times, he's just doing whatever he wants in the moment. He doesn't have like a routine. And Mackenzie, she thrives on a schedule, like I said. So bringing that routine back in could be beneficial for her too. But just trying to work on myself so then my family will fall in line with how that is important.
Ugh, that's so great. Know this was so helpful to so many people, especially those busy moms out there that are trying to make space for their spiritual practice and figuring out how and where to work it in. So thank you so much for sharing this, Autumn.
Of course, of course. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Follow our podcast. We release a new episode each and every week, and join us on Facebook inside the Soul Revival community. Come be a part of the magic. We'll see you there.